Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be a little different because I'm going to combine two in one, meaning I want to talk about the books that I read in the month of February, and I want to include my March TBR in this video. So for the month of February, I only read a total of 6 books, which is not horrible for me. I was leaning towards 8, but it was a shorter month and there was a lot of things going on that month for me. So I ended up reading 6 books. The first book I read was Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. And this book I ended up giving a 5-star to. This was such a great book with unlikable characters, and the situation is not ideal. It's literally about a bank robbery gone wrong, and said bank robber runs into a apartment open house and ends up holding the 8 people hostage. All of these characters are strangers in the story, but for some reason their lives are connected or have been connected in some way, and I just thought it was brilliant. The way that Fredrik Backman writes his stories is so interesting. I was never bored. The chapters are really short. You get the points of views of all the characters in this book, and every chapter made me want more and ended in me having so many unanswered questions that I was just glued onto this story. This story was so interesting, and the way that this author unraveled everything was just perfection. So I ended up giving it a 5-star. I really enjoyed it. Next book I read was Exes and O's by Amy Lea, and this was on my February TBR, so I am very happy that I actually got to this book. Even though I really didn't read much from my TBR list, but I tried. This book was everything I needed in a Valentine's Day romance. I loved it so much. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 5-star. And this book follows Tara and Trevor, and Tara is a bookstagrammer, and she is a hopeless romantic, and she loves everything rom-com. She references book tropes all the time, which I think is really cute. And Trevor's a Boston firefighter who wants nothing to do with love, who doesn't want a relationship and doesn't want to be in one. So Tara's sister ends up falling in love with Trevor's roommate, so they end up moving in together, meaning Tara now has to move out and find some place to go. Well, lucky for her, her sister's soon-to-be fiance tells her that she can go ahead and move in with his roommate, which happens to be Trevor. Because Tara's such a hopeless romantic, she decides to come up with this brilliant idea of going back to all her 10 exes and trying to see if she can rekindle anything, trying to give them a second shot to see if there's anything there. And Trevor decides that he wants to help her with this. So it's their romance, and I absolutely enjoyed reading this book. I like the relationship that they form as they move in. Trevor's actually very sweet. He's actually not a mean guy at all. I like how they're strangers at first, then they become really good friends, and their friendship blossoms into love, which is really, really cute. Some parts were a little cheesy, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed this book. Next up, I read The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, and I gave this book a 4. It was okay. It was a really cute little high school rom-com, but it did not top Better Than the Movies at all. It did not top that book at all. This book was more like a Groundhog Day, but for Valentine's Day. It follows Emily, who loves Valentine's Day. It's her favorite holiday. She's a hopeless romantic, and she has everything planned out to have the perfect Valentine's Day. However, things go wrong in every aspect in her life that day. She ends up having to relive that same horrible day over and over again. The beginning of this book was very slow. I'm not sure if I like Groundhog Day themed books because it seems like it's very repetitive and things happen over and over again, and I just get bored quickly. I enjoyed the last half of the book when a relationship finally started to form and feelings started to show. This story follows Emily and her classmate Nick, and for some reason, even though she's trying really hard to relive the day and make it perfect and make changes to make it perfect, she runs into him all the time. So obviously it's their love. And again, I enjoyed the half end of the book because that's when you get to know Nick more and their relationship starts to blossom from there. The beginning was a little slow for me, unfortunately, but nonetheless, still gave it a 4. So the next 2 books I read are part of a series. I started reading the Twisted series. First book is Twisted Love. Second book is Twisted Games. Twisted Love so far right now is my favorite book out of the series, even though I've only read 2. This one follows Alex and Ava is a walking sunshine, and Alex is a grumpy He has a very dark past and he's done some things. Alex is Ava's best friend who agrees to watch over Ava while Alex is studying abroad to further continue his career. So you have a little bit of grumpy sunshine in there, you have forbidden romance, you have forced proximity because he does end up moving next door to Ava because that house belongs to her brother Josh. So it's their romance and I absolutely loved it. The steamy scenes in this book were so good. I enjoyed this book so much. The next one is Twisted Games, and Twisted Games, I gave this book a 5-star, but now I'm thinking of giving it a 4 or 4.5. I did enjoy this couple. This couple follows one of Ava's friends and her bodyguard, which is very, very sexy. So this is mainly forbidden love. Bridget is a princess. She is soon to be crowned queen. Rise is this very grungy, tall, muscular man who happens to be her bodyguard. So it's their forbidden romance. It was really good. The steamy scenes in this book kicked it up a notch compared to Twisted Love, but Twisted Love, Ava and Alex are my favorite couple so far. This was really good too, but I enjoyed Twisted Love more. And the last book I read is Sweat and Soap Volumes 2. I started this series last month. I absolutely enjoyed it and I'm continuing this series, and I believe there's 9 or 11 volumes in this series. It's really, really cute. It's about this girl who happens to work in this toiletry soap company, and he happens to be the CEO of the company, and she has always been self-conscious about sweating profusely, smelling bad because she sweats so much. One day he just happens to walk by her and he smells her and is absolutely obsessed with her scent, can't get enough. So the whole series is about their romance and it's just so cute. To me, it's so humble. It makes me happy seeing this couple together. I love it so much and I plan on reading more of it. So let's talk about the books that I would like to read for the month of March. I don't have a huge stack. I only have 5 books that I would like to get to because there's other books as well that I plan on reading for the month of March. The first 2 books I plan on reading is, I really want to just finish the Twisted series, so that would be Twisted Hate and Twisted Lies. Twisted Hate, as you can see, I've already started. And I'm going to tell you this right now. This is by far my favorite book out of the whole series because it's enemies to lovers and their banter is so good that I just can't get enough. I love it so much. I love their back and forth arguments, their banter, their little jabs that they give each other. Love it. So this book follows Ava's best friend, which is Jules, and it follows Josh, which is Ava's brother, and they hate each other. They can't stand each other. Josh thinks that Jules is very bad influence for Ava since Ava is kind of a goody good girl. She's very noble and she's very innocent in that sense, and Jules is the party girl, the wild girl who doesn't want a relationship, doesn't mind having a fling. At some points gets her and Ava in trouble during certain scenarios. Josh is a doctor, or he's working on his career to be a doctor, and he is just grumpy, mean. There's a lot of profanity in here, but I really enjoy it. I really enjoy their banter. I love this couple. I might like this couple more than Alex and Ava at this point. And then the last book in the series is Twisted Lies, and this one follows Stella. All of these couples are either related or they're friends within the circle. Stella is another one of Ava's friends who happens to be a makeup influencer, and Christian is Rise's old employer. He runs the bodyguard company and he also runs a penthouse real estate company as well, but he's done some very bad things. He almost sounds like a mobster. You picture him very wealthy, very rich, very good looking, in very high-end suits, but also has a dark side to him, which I can't wait to read about. The next book I want to read is In a Jam by Kate Canterbary, and look how beautiful this cover is. I love it so much. It screams spring and summer. I don't really know much about this, and that's okay. I'm going in it blind. I do know that it's not plot driven as much. It is more character based, and it is a small town romance. I believe it's friends to lovers. And it says up here, she's the one that got away. She just doesn't know it yet. I love small town romances. I can't wait to read it, and I'm in the mood to read a small town romance. The next book I want to read is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I don't know anything about this series. I do have 2 other books that are standalone from this series, but people say you should read the 3 books in the series first and then get to those books. It's not going to matter that much because it sounds like this book has a lot of world building and politics in it. People just really didn't like the series. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews. Someone said that this book was wholesome, and I'm in the mood to read something wholesome. It is a YA fantasy, and that's all I know about it. And I think it's about magic. I'm not sure. Probably gonna go into it blind, and I'm probably gonna listen to the audio as I follow along just to give me that much more of an experience. But I can't wait to read it, and this book feels good too. The words are big, flipping through the pages feels nice. So all it says is, a magnificent debut, a spellbinding tale of love, sacrifice, and hope. So I can't wait to read it. Next book on my list is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This is a horror novel. I'm kind of scared to dip into this. I read one Grady Hendrix book, which is The Southern Housewife's Guide to Slaying a Vampire, something like that, and I absolutely loved it. Grady Hendrix is known not only for his horror books, but also how detailed and disgusting they are. Yes, they are scary, but he focuses more on the details and the goriness and grossness of the story. And I believe this is about a girl whose parents have just died in her childhood home, and she has to go back, sort things out, and collect things, but the house happens to be haunted. So that's all I know about it. I heard it's really creepy, it's really cringy, and there's a lot of gross things in it. But I'm excited to read it. I'm happy I got the paperback too, because I'm a paperback girl. I prefer paperback over hardcover. It just feels so nice. It just feels so nice flipping through it, and it just feels like a really good chunky paperback, but it's not like, you know, how the pages sometimes in books are tight. This is not it. This just feels nice in my hands, if that makes any sense. And the last book I would love to read this month is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. I've heard nothing but great things about this book, and it's about a group of girls who are out in the woods, maybe playing a game or something when they were kids, and one of them gets stabbed like 17 times and survives the attack somehow. And I think it's about them putting the wrong killer in prison, and the actual killer is still out there. So that is what the book is about. It says they were 11 when they sent a killer to prison. They were heroes, but they were liars. One of them in the group is lying, and I just can't wait to read it. So those are all the books that I've read in February and that I would love to read in March. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know what you think about them, or if you're gonna read any, or how many books are you gonna read this month. I would like to read 8, but who knows? Who knows how many books I'll read. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.